Hello. Hello. Hello, hello. Oh no. It certainly should work. Ultra low latency. Alright. Startup gotcha. Yeah. Climb, Pico, climb. Oh, Pico, climb. Don't gotta worry about that anymore. Shouldn't there be game music? Hey there. Hey there, Noreen. Suppose there's not gonna be much. Okay. Gonna test the audio here. Oh, hey, have fun. Is today your birthday? I always forget what exact day. But I saw you were partying. Have a good night. Alright, we got the jams. Testing my audio with Celeste. Let me know if it's a little bit loud or quiet. How did I die? Oh, happy birthday. It's gonna take a little bit off of Celeste. Usually the one that overpowers me. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a return to the Jello Temple. We'll get back with your regular scheduled friends learning about anxiety soon enough. But rather than starting right off with really warm cutscenes, like some of the best cutscenes in the whole game, we're just gonna do a little pure gameplay. This is the first B-side that I streamed. So you unlock them inside the levels, and then you get a harder version with a remix of the song. And harder challenges, but the same mechanics, so we get more Jello blocks. I did I think most of this without breaking a sweat right after the last stream, so I was thinking, let's see how far I can get tonight if I've still got it. Yeah, the Jello warm-up. Yeah, this is a lot of being chased. Yeah, this gets weird. I can only think about this for so long, and then I just kind of have to go off my gut. Dude, that's not gonna... Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, but I didn't actually get it. That's no good. Whoa! I actually... That's funny. She proved it. I stood on that for a moment. That's really funny. That's really funny. I was just kind of instinctively ducking down there, but there's actually a great way to make room for myself. This took a whole bunch of tries. I forget what I ended up having to do. Oh yeah, I totally forget what I had to do. But I kind of remember how to kill time. Oh, here we go. Whatever. I don't really remember, but it worked. That's no good. That's no good. See? That's no good. Oh, I didn't tweet about this because I feel conflicted, but I got a job. Well, not a job, but I got a volunteer position at Anime Boston, my local convention, just today. Yeah, I don't think I can end right there. It's gonna crush me. I got a volunteer position for this upcoming AB if they do it. Yeah, at the information desk because I love relaying information. I'm really excited. This is my first time meeting people like in the industry. There's some people from like pretty deep inside the board of directors that are my supervisors from customer relations, and I'm pretty excited to be on that side of the table in the anime biz for the first time ever. Like it's just a 1 weekend thing. I'm not getting paid even, but I'm really excited. I'm conflicted because of COVID, obviously. They said they're gonna follow whatever Boston says, and I'm like, like, I'm pretty sure it was an anime con that brought Omicron over. So I don't know. I'm very COVID conscious with Omicron, but this is just the one thing where I'm like, very, like, I'm willing to take the risk and be very anxious about it the whole time, which is like only half being ready to take the risk. But I don't know. I didn't want to like point blank tweet about it because I totally get the like, you should not be partying, you should not be going to family gatherings, do your part kind of vibe, and I don't want to like, you know, kill people's mojo with that. Thank you both. I get to go for free and also not feel obliged to like spend a super long time if I'm like tired or anxious because it's plague convention. I'm just working, so I can just stop and do like exactly what I want to do, like 1 or 2 trips to the booths or whatnot, and go home and then go back the next day. I didn't spend any money, so it's fine if I don't do much, if I'm not feeling the AB spirit. In the interview, I was thinking, like, damn, I should always do this to get into cons. Like, I'm not spending anymore. I'm just gonna network. Whoa, that was like a really close miss. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I didn't want to... I'm not that confident about it, but I do vaguely have this sense of, like, well, at least know what's going on with Omicron in that long. I know that amount of time has kind of proven to be just about nothing in the past during the bad times, but in this case, it's at least not going to be as bad as what I've been dealing with trying to see family for the holidays. Yeah, no, it sounds super fun. That did seem a little bit haunted. Yeah, I don't like being down there. Yeah, I keep wanting to just hit that first, but then I forget that I need to find a way out. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of ways to do this. Oh, I'm dead. Not that many ways to get out. Oh. Oh, come. Yay. Mm. All right. Wow, that actually worked. That felt pretty weird. See that? I'm not. That's no good. I clearly must have done these rooms last time, but I must have done them in like one try because I don't remember a thing. I can't quite. There we go. Oh my god, that's... Whoa. Oh, okay, I'll tell you something. Last night I was finishing cave stories, like super hard, super end, super thing, and it got so fucking hard with the platforming that I heard all these voices in my head that said, like, D-pad supremacy, and I put my joystick down, and although it felt very weird to shift the weight physically this way, I controlled my direction with the pad instead of the stick, and it sure was a lot more precise immediately, but I didn't do it, I didn't, like, commit to it. I remember thinking, like, I'd have to do a whole game starting this way, and do a lot of easy stuff before I switched to it, but, I'm right now trying it a little bit, and it sure is appealing. It's just very weird to me still, because I don't ever control movement this way. I mean, maybe I did on a DS or Game Boy Advance, but my alibi is I didn't play any platformers back then. Either way, it's weird, but I'm trying it. It's certainly a lot better. Oh, this is the one where I just gave up. This is fun, but I just gave up. It's like mostly fun. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of Celeste is like you go to a room and it's like there's no way I could possibly do this, and then you have to do it like 20 times and then you feel like unbelievably good. Are there good? Yeah, I wonder who I'll be hobnobbing with. Oh, I think you mentioned Erica Friedman, Noreen. You were talking about something, I think, and you mentioned Erica Friedman. I can't claim to be hobnobbing with Erica Friedman, but I watched I thought about telling people about it. I watched the Japan Society of New York put on a conference digitally of a bunch of academics talking about shoujo manga. And she was there. I saw her speak. It was interesting. I have a professor that one of my professors put me in touch with. And she's... I ran into her in the chat for that conference. And my professor told me, like, she's very flaky. Like, she's not really good at, like, actually following through on stuff. But regardless, it might be worth talking to her about something with theater. And I was like, okay. And she didn't follow through with talking back in the fall. And I'm like, yeah, we're busy. But then I saw her in the shoujo manga chat. And I was like, hey, I just saw you and caught up. And she's like, oh, yeah, I got so inspired by what you were saying that I started researching a ton of stuff about anime and manga fandom. So I was like, oh, we are going to talk about this. And it's not a happy ending, though, right now. We tried to make a date a few times to do, like, a Zoom call. And she just kept, like, having stuff come up, which was, like, always mostly understandable. But after a while, I just got so tired of, like, advocating for myself and trying to follow up that I was just like, fuck it. Like, let's wait 5 more months. Yes, I did it! Oh my god. Yeah. The ultimate technique is, sleeping and doing hard things when you're arrested. But, she seemed like she'd be such a fun person to talk to, but she cannot follow through whenever we make a date to talk. But I've got my own hands full just existing as a student right now, let alone an academic. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. The issue is, like, I poured my heart and soul. Well, I poured my muscle into my final papers for last semester because I've never written this much before. So I really just needed to get something going. And my professor had some worries about how I actually applied, like, what she was saying about androgyny in some old theater. And I don't think I fully understood it, and I haven't taken time to understand it more because I've just had so much other stuff to juggle. So I don't really know how much we do have to talk about, but it is just so funny how I saw her there. She's like, yeah, I've been, like, running around to different panels learning about, like, anime fans because you mentioned there's a lot of androgyny. Oh, I forgot. I might have finished this, but I at least know that I really scraped my face against it late at night when I was trying it. I might have finished it in the end, but I realized you do it this way. Sometimes there's a few good ways to do things, but when your way sucks that bad, and the other way does not. Yeah. That would be very good. I'm trying to get a summer job where I can speak a bit more. Because I need a little bit of money. I don't get paid that much in general. And I don't get paid at all when there's no school in the summer. So I need a second job. It's weird applying for remote seasonal work. Like, I don't know. It is... I don't think anybody wants me. I haven't looked that hard, but I'm like, need very niche work, and it needs to be remote, and I'm not staying. But I see some positions, like I reached back out to the beauty blog, and they had an opening that looked interesting. And I was like, I could go full-time if you want me to just, like, scream for a few months with my 3 obligations. Like, if you can handle that I'm doing, like, 5 hours a week, I'd love to keep it up remote, but I really only need work for 3.5 months. Oh no. There isn't really a family-friendly way to get, like, the extra pixel that I need to dash from the wall over to the Jello. I keep doing dangerous things. No, this isn't the way that I want to escape. But I can. No! See? Oh, I guess I can just not cling. Sometimes I get clingy once I'm anxious, and that doesn't really help. Go up and over. Don't die. Don't die. Come on. Yay. What's that do for me? Huh? Not much. There's something to be said about the adrenaline of like the first time you do something. If you can carry that through, sometimes you just kill the whole thing before you get worked up over it. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. No. Ugh, you mean for COVID or for capitalism? Sometimes I have that thoughts, you know. I'm so vulnerable. I make so little money. I need this as like a stepping stone to other things. But I'm like, yeah, I could stick it to my boss and walk out. Like the 4 Japanese department professors. Like if I had to save some kind of walkout, not for like school protest safety, but like COVID safety, which is pressingly on my mind and actually very disturbing. But like in general, if I was like general workers strike, walk out, I'd be like, oh yeah, the 3 students are gonna get their papers graded, and I'm gonna lose like the tiny stipend that helps me buy Cheerios. So just who am I understand the sentiment, but I am woefully unprepared for a strike of any kind during these years of my life. Let's grab more water. I'll be right back. How did you recognize that this is Super Mart music? It's exactly what it's supposed to be. I know, GoFundMe. Let the grad students have Cheerios for a bit. The other schools in the area are doing a 3-week pause on in-person. I have no idea why our school would not do it, so I for some reason have a memory of them being cowards and, or more like stupid, and not doing anything till like the last minute with a few shutdowns, so I think we're gonna get that. But they sure, oh my god, they sure haven't been open about that, if that's what they want to do. They were like, an employee has died, the first employee to die of COVID, and nothing about Omicron response. Just that, like, that's kind of the thing a lot of people are doing right now, is they're like, we care about Omicron, don't wear cloth masks. And it's like, gee, it is masked vaccinated people that are spreading this, to my knowledge. Not that there's not unmasked, unvaccinated people also doing it, but my supervisor for AB was like, you know, we're all gonna be vaccinated, we're all gonna be masked. Like, we're all vaccinated and masked in Massachusetts. Like, it's not totally true, but I know that it's not the maskless people's fault specifically. Like, we all know. We've all just gotten used to blocking stuff out at this point. Come on, that right there is what breaks your spirit. I don't even know if I finished this puzzle last time. It sucks. That's good. Like, I can't deny it. Like, I do want in-person classes really bad. But, like, it's been pretty easy for me to get pretty fired up about Omicron. Like, this is insane. And I don't know. I guess I don't know everything, but I don't think people are super informed when they say, like, it's okay to spread mild COVID, because we don't know the long-term results. Like, we don't know the long-term impacts of having COVID, so let alone Omicron or any Delta variant. Like, we just have we don't know what we're telling people to get. I don't want to lose my sense of smell for 3 months. Like, I live with immunocompromised people because of my landlord and her husband, but even beyond that, I just don't want COVID. I don't want to lose my sense of taste for any amount of time. I just don't think that's necessary. Like, I don't think that online infrastructure is very good, but especially for stuff like school, everybody seems to unanimously hate it, but I don't care. We have it. We have a shitty, rafty boat to use. We all know how to use it. We just did it. This is why we stream 2D video games. This is why we stream indie games. Oh my god. The way that the cloud in my heart began to dissipate when you mentioned Kirby Dream Land 3. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy you're enjoying it. I see you online on SNES, NSO, and I am so happy. It's such a good little game. It's a really new one for me. Yes. Oh, yes! That was the last one. I knew we were super close when I gave up last time. My thing lately has been giving up on really hard indie game challenges at around 1 a.m. and just doing them at a normal time of day later. I didn't play Dreamland 3 until NSO, and I just, like, I had, like, a vague sense of all the Kirby games that I hadn't played before, just from growing up playing a lot of Kirby, but, it's far and away the most beautiful one to me. And I've been saying recently in my head and to my friends and to my followers that, if and when they go back to making two-dimensional games instead of keeping up with this new three-dimensional gameplay that they've just unveiled, I want them to go back to sprites. I love the 3D graphics overlaid over 2D gameplay, which they've been doing. Like, these are some of my favorite games I'm talking about, but those pixels, man, they're so good. It's unbelievably pretty. It's so much prettier than anything that's come after it. I mean, I hear people on the, like, 8-bit Kirby is so pretty because it's retro, and I love that aesthetic. I'm like, okay, go you. But there's just so much care in that game to the aesthetic, beyond it being a really good aesthetic where everything's like cute and kind of like artsy. It's just so pretty. Kirby games by and large are very pretty, but it's just got its own thing, and it's just executed to such a high degree. And the dream friend, the animal friends are so fun and cute. I love them all. I don't know if you've met them all. I don't know. I don't remember the solution to this. I never do. I was good, but barely lost out on the opportunity. That was good. That was good. That was good. Yay! We did it. The fish. That's kind the fish, which for some reason I feel like I've been told is a pun on like some like nomenclature for fish families. My sister would certainly know, like Ikikain or something like that. He's kind the fish. There's 6 of them. There is Rick the hamster. There's Coo the owl. There's Kine the fish. There's Pitch the small green bird. There's Nago the cat. And then there's Choo Choo, who's just Choo Choo. She's like a slime. This is how she is. Oh yeah, this takes place in Canada. I might have mentioned that. We've got Canada everywhere. The audience gives like a clap for the returning characters. Ta-da! It's the pause screen. Theo, you're awake. You had a messed up nightmare. So this is a long campfire talk. It's the last big hangout that they really get to have. Nobody dies or anything, but the game's almost over. This is so nice. They just talk. I'm just thinking right now, again with chapter 3, I think Madeline revealed herself in a dream, right? So the first time she revealed herself in real life should have been a really big deal. I think the first time she revealed herself was talking to Mr. Oshiro, which is so mundane. Oh, I'm so frustrated with that chapter. You neglected to hang out with Kine. Oh, do you know the Dark Tower series? I'm sure we talked about this. Stephen King's Dark Tower series. There's a term in it that kind of goes throughout called palavar that I've probably talked about because I mention it a lot. It's oftentimes characters will like have a campfire and spend like 9 years talking to each other. It's like this thing where like time warps because you're talking to each other and like getting deep and deep into a conversation. I feel like this is extremely a palavar. Sometimes at the apartment, Liz and I would just like have a second and accidentally have like a super deep conversation for 3 hours. I would always have them at my vegan cafe job because it was just two people and nobody else working. So you had a lot of time for palavars on a quiet weekday. That many day jobs, I do feel like they're if they're 20-year-olds, I don't think they're very young 20-year-olds. I genuinely feel like these are like some of the first video game characters that I've seen like given attention that are like 32. That's just kind of how I feel about them from my age. The handful of palavars. I hope they don't crash the stream with their palavar like last time. You gotta go to therapy. I drink mostly and get mad at people on the internet. Don't do it. Don't go to Alaska. Very flaky. Yeah, but you had high density and decent velocity in the air. Yeah, yeah. I thought he would elaborate on it more. It's funny that he was just like, yeah, probably, in that conversation, but didn't go on any farther. I thought he talked more about it. Once they mention that it's partially his creation, that's when all the eyeballs appear. And the way that he's frozen, like, I don't know, I feel something with that symbolism. Like it feels like pressure, like external pressure is one thing that I read when I think about that. That's extremely heavy. I kind of saw that option and I'm like, this is probably very heavy dialogue, isn't it? Twisted defense mechanisms. That's what you talk about in therapy for anxiety. Like, take a bath. I bet he was. Yeah, she really circles all around that, doesn't she? It's like the one solid thing besides like identifying the misfunctioning mental stuff. Gotta take a selfie. Finally, a good selfie. Hmm. Gosh, yeah, I played this in 2018 and then again last year. Was it the most recent time? Did I take 2 years off? I don't know about that. I feel like I've played it so many more times, but each year it kind of means something different. Yeah, for sure. The other two were like, they had just met and she was coming out of a nightmare. Here we go. No. We're not doing the Aurora level. Chapter 6 is the Crystal Jungle level. And it's so pretty in its own way. Oh. So, the next game by this team is like a jungle. It's all the concept art they have is all green and like planty. It's some kind of adventure game, and I wonder if it's gonna have anything like this for vibes. Very planty. I'm looking forward to it a lot. Yeah, I always think of different parts of my life this way. Like, the unexpected diversion. I don't know. Seems like things are falling apart, but now you're just in a really weird, trippy space. And then you'll see what it comes to mean as we keep dealing with the situation. I was gonna say, that's not safe. So we are using the feather to cope. Yeah. What? There we go. Yeah, these flowers, they're long vines. They make me feel like that's what we're gonna see in the next game. It's not like a Celeste follow-up. They said they're not gonna do that, but nonetheless. Am I gonna die? No. Hee. B-side. Oh, goodness. I did this recently. I did this last year. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Does nothing for me, but... Yay! Lush, primeval Canada. Yes, we're going to another region. Wow. That makes me happy because, what's unique about that game is the puzzles. At the end of every level, you've probably seen there's usually somebody waiting to, like, let you know if... Or, like, they're waiting for something to happen. And sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't. It's really hard to tell what they want you to do. So the first time I beat it, I got, like, the kind of normal ending. I didn't get, like, the true happy ending you get if you do all the puzzles, which is a pretty big goal to work towards. And I never really had a good knack for what, like, the creatures wanted me to have done. I was kind of just breezing through it when I played it. So I didn't get quite as much out of it, but if you're patient and you replay it and, like, really think about each level, I think it would be a really fulfilling Kirby game. So that's kind of why I recommended it. Wow, I love... That background's awesome. It just makes the jungle look like it goes on forever. Whoa. What's this? Oh boy, oh no! Now we're really falling. I don't really remember this. Oh! Oh, how wonderful. Oh, I wonder if these are the patterns from the... Oh. Play? So I've been here before. I hadn't been here in a long time. Play? I don't know how to puzzle this. Although these remind me of the bird puzzle we did in the first level. Not that I really remember the answer to that. I really don't remember. But now I know where this is. Someday I'll know. Oh, yikes. I kind of forget it, but I sure have heard it a lot. Yeah, so I thought you might like those puzzles. It's definitely a Kirby game that I need to spend some time with, but I recommended it to you and I re-recommended it to Liz, because I don't know, I just feel like you two will get a lot out of the aesthetic, but also like putting your... I feel like getting really immersed in it and caring a lot about the characters that you meet is probably the answer to figuring out what they want, not like rushing through it. So I just like, I don't know. That seems like the way that you really get immersed into Atelier. I feel like that would translate pretty well to figuring out what the little flower friends want. Versus me, who is mostly here to like just do fancy action moves and stuff. That's kind of how I play Kirby. I move fast and I punch everybody, and that's kind of how it goes. But Wreck-It Ralph taught me I have a place in this world. I saw scathing criticism of the sequel to that movie. It wasn't even about the internet culture. Yeah, Spark Coup was. I forgot about that. That's a very memorable ability. That's good. That's good. I haven't seen it. It seems like it was very much about like Ralph being a clingy friend and needing to like adapt to being a normal friend. It seems like it was very much about friendship. The Disney princess part looked like a lot of fun. Oh, wow. Oh, I sure could have died. Oh, man. Good. That's quite a fun sequel function. Like, remember this movie? Do you ever wonder how they're doing now? Did you wonder if their mental state was perfect at the end of the movie you saw? Now you'll know. Don't quite see why I did that so well, but I'll take it. Oh boy. Oh man. Oh boy. Nice. Bird. Grandmother. that's really sad, but like, no, I've got it. I'm just going to be miserable. That's the answer. She kind of might. Hello. That's a very merciful restart. Is that a shortcut? Yes, it is. The stone of coping. Gosh, it was there was so much. It was that there's so many pieces at once. I don't really remember. It was just really dug into it so deeply. Or perhaps it just attacked a whole lot of things. I think one criticism was right at the beginning, like, I think it began with Vanellope, like, being done. Oh, that, it was about Turbo. It was about the issue where I think Vanellope was specifically doing what was being, like, very directly problematized in the first movie, which is leaving your video game and trying to, like, going turbo and stuff. I think Vanellope was doing something very, very similar to what the villain was doing, which was leaving what she had seemingly wanted to be doing, which the entire plot of the first movie was about. I think it starts off with her being dissatisfied with that, which is like, okay, that's fine. But there's no awareness of the fact that she's doing very much exactly what Turbo did, but it's being framed completely differently this time. That's one thing that I remember, just in terms of, like, plot mismatch. There was something very fun we talked about in class about something where psychic powers were used to represent women's repressed emotions. I think specifically sexuality and anger. There is some piece of literature we were referring to where psychic powers were manifestation of, or a symbol of, suppressed anger and sexual desire in women. I was just thinking about that. Like, yeah, with all the things that women have to bottle up with cultural misogyny, I like symbols for them getting out versus like, I mean, I don't know. I think that's a very fun way to deal with that topic. I was just thinking about how this battle-in is using magic. Like, is there something inherently, like, funky with the emotions with magic and the negative part of us having the witchy magical power? I don't know. Oh, jeez. One of my old friends played this after he saw me play it, and he said this was like specifically the hardest part of the game for him. It's never been that for me, but I could definitely see it getting tricky. I find it a lot of fun in addition to manageable. It's so cool that like I don't mind the idea of it being hard for people. Oh, there's one of those there. Wow, this is my first time thinking about dashing at the wall and carrying momentum upwards. I've never really done that before, but it worked well. Witch narratives. Yeah, there's certainly local history connecting controlling women to witches in these woods. No, what is Dreadnought? I've seen a lot of fictional, like, evil weapons in fiction be called something along that. Also Dreadnought in Pokemon, which you might know. No, you got me. Oh. That does sound very appealing. That's definitely the era that I'm in. This is so much fun. If it wasn't blisteringly hard, I might do the B-side. No! Oh, very much no. That's not easy. Smooth. Mm. Oh, you move, huh? I don't know why I had the confidence to duck that there. That was some intuition. What the hell? I got asked what superhero power I would want at this date and time in my interview with Anime Boston. And I said ESP. I also asked what hair color I would have if I was an anime protagonist, and I said lately purple. So, I think I'm in a battle in Arc or something. I forgot about the magic part with her, for sure, but, I realized that's a bit funky. I was just like, oh, lately definitely ESP, telekinesis or something. You know what's good about Battlein is she doesn't do anything objectively terrible like kill people. It's a lot easier to forgive her in the end. In Cave Story, the beloved indie classic that I've been playing all month, which I adore, the villains do a lot worse things and still get redeemed. It's not that people... I don't know. It's not that you can't do a good villain redemption, but it truly is just Lanjuing it sometimes. Like, forgetting, like, was that, like, bad? Like, does she need to pay up for doing that? Oh, I got that first time confidence. Oh, I do. I sure do. Oh, I sure do. I sure do. Don't I just. Excellent. Oh gosh. I'm not too well versed in the Steven universe yet, but I could be. I could become that. Nothing's more comforting than a Madeline. We're pink! We've got 2 jumps now. I think there was some meme that was like Celeste's like complicated narrative about accepting your mental illness and not identifying with it, but also not trying to repress it. And then the person was like, trans people can double jump. Trans girls can double jump. Pink and leveled. He must have run pretty far. It's like an adorable goth Madeline. That's so rad! That was your fault. Yay. Yeah, like we've been talking about, it's obviously all very interpretive stuff, but I really like it. I think first, second times through the story, I was kind of like, eh. I don't know. Like, it only really made sense in terms of, like, characters being friends, but I don't know. A few years of therapy later, I do have so many moments lately where I'm like, man, I would not have caught that if my anxiety wasn't so ridiculously laser sharp. Like, driving and stuff, there's so many times where I'm like, man, I would not be such a careful, patient driver if I did not have such bad anxiety when I was learning how to drive. I just feel like anxiety has made my brain so fast and, like, sharp on catching stuff, even on a good day. Oh, it crashed, didn't it? Oh man, we haven't shaken this. I don't know. Learning how to make anxiety, like, not actively detract from my health is the goal for this year. But, obviously, anxiety should be handled. But there are so many times where I'm like, man, my brain is so quick. I don't think it's because of health. I think even when I'm healthy, I'll have a very, very quick brain because of these anxious years. Now, I'm sure that that's saved, because it's saved every time so far. I was hoping that it wouldn't crash anymore, though, after a reset. You will be. Very safe. It was tough getting my papers back, because, like, I was being as careful as I could, and I was really, really trying to be careful with those papers, but, I don't know. I think a lot of my over-prepping for research was also a lot of, like, learning to be very cautious of my own thoughts and double checking them. I'm trying to get that in a healthy degree, I guess. Not to, like, glorify being anxious or self-confidence issues, but I feel like it's good to look at your brain just as a thing, as it is, and that's a whole complicated thing we all go through. It feels like a speedrun strat. I've been watching Games Done Quick all week. Crash Celeste and it'll take you right to the next level. Yeah, that's how I feel about anxiety. Social anxiety and stuff. Like, again, I think there's many unhealthy levels of that, but just thinking about the impact it has on your brain. Even just to think also caring about, like, having self-care methods and stuff. It's like it comes after having mental illness, but it's definitely a part of it. Oh, looks glitchy. Looks glitchy. Yeah, it still looks glitchy. We can't have that. What are those dark clouds? It's not. Well, I'll put it on break while I get water and get it to load. Be back for the final chapter.
Welcome.
want to tentatively turn it back on. Because we got it. It's been hard. But we got it. There's like a really pretty scene right when the level opens, so that was like killing my computer, which really sucks. Or at least the app. I really don't think 8 gigabytes of RAM should be I mean, this is a beautiful game, but I don't think 8 gigabytes of RAM should be faltering at rendering these moments, even if I'm streaming. They are, though. So this is the summit, like straight up. We're doing it. It's just a very hard final challenge. Get to the top of the mountain with your trans double jump. The flowers are still here. I was gonna say they feel like something that the team enjoys making. Here we are. Yeah, straight up. It's beautiful. It's just a totally normal place. I don't know why. I feel like I've been like tricked by so many endings where it's like a subversion. I do really appreciate lately just like a totally normal final boss or something where it's like, yeah, this is very hard and it's the bad guy and it's gonna be like this. This is very just like, yep, it's the summit. It's hard. It's not crazy. I really like how they wrap up all the like internal stuff in those last 2 chapters. They certainly weren't before, but they're kind of becoming my favorite chapters. The Jello Temple, or the Theo Temple, and the Crystal Jungle. I love this one just because it's beautiful, but I really like those really story-heavy chapters too. But, nope, we're just climbing the mountain. Thanks to our mental health, ? We have pink hair. I mean, that's definitely a thing, but, thanks to our mental health, we have pink double jump hair. Not just fancy, really, really hard to manage LGBT hair. It's just, you know what? Maybe I'll make the art that you missed, the, thumbnail art for this, because it's really pretty. It's just a pretty drawing of her approaching the summit, and then it goes right to this. Or no, there's another scene of the 2 of them swirling and talking about what they're gonna do, but this won't be the last time that they talk while like flying through the sky. There we go. Yeah, so there's no strawberries in that last level. Just to focus on stuff, I guess. What I was gonna say is, it's cool that these flowers are still here, because I was kind of thinking, at first I was like, why is she riding the rock to battle a battle end? This is such a personal thing. Like, what does the rock really represent for her? But I feel like chapter 6 is kind of special, because somewhere in there she finds her resolve to just, I mean, talking to Grandma helps a lot, but somewhere in there she finds her personal resolve that gets her through and gives her confidence to speak to Battlein directly and deal with this. I think the advice she gets goes a long way, but I don't know, I was just thinking about the flowers and the crystals and stuff that's specific to that last chapter. Oh jeez, I sure fell. They feel kind of important as like symbols of her progress and resolution at the end, so it's kind of cool that those flowers are still here, even though they're such different parts of the mountain. Apparently today's Ichigo Day? I don't know why. Ichigatsu Jugo Nichi? Like, I'm no good at dates, actually. Yeah, and the crystals with the jungle are also kind of fun. Plants and hardness. I'm a little worried these scenes are going to crash the computer, but I hope they're easier to run. She's really determined now. I almost feel like she is determined in spite of her anxiety. And that's right. There's a lot of replaying bits from the old levels. We got the city. I don't know if it's purely being mad at herself, but I do feel like she's found this confidence by realizing that it's just her own anxiety that's causing Madeline to be this way. So yeah, I certainly sign off on the ending in terms of like the characters. Like that's kind of all that I processed the first time. I was like, yeah, she deserves to be a part of her life. Then the second time I was like, wait, her mental health or her bad mental health is a permanent part of her life? And I've just been in therapy for that many more years and I'm like, yeah. Yeah, it's just a bunch of twisted defense. They said it specifically. It's a bunch of twisted defense mechanisms. That's not easy to take out of your brain. Not that I am a mental health expert, but just having my own 4 years. I turned 20 when I first got my Switch. And I'm turning 24. Still playing Celeste in January. Lesbian City. Oh, Ichigo Day. Yeah. But wouldn't that be every month? Ichigo? Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. Either Ichigatsu Murmuraka or every single Gatsu has an Ichigo-hi for some reason. I don't know. The parody ads in the background are always real good. The "Are you beach ready?" with like the incredibly trim white woman. And there's one that isn't in as many places that's like "Man up," and it's just a guy just like doing a little flex. Wow, that was nice. This is super not coming off almost anything, but I was noticing that I was like acknowledging when I was proud of myself for a few of these tricks, and the thought came up I've been kind of chewing on lately, which is like I spent a lot of time studying music in high school in like a really competitive environment, and it was all guys at the higher level besides me, so there's that for sure that I have never really understood the impacts of. But I also actually came to this college as a jazz vocalist. I snuck in through the music department. Gotta get that strawberry. Which means that I was taking vocal lessons for a little while until we realized that I didn't want to be a jazz vocalist, and I already knew kind of enough about music. One day, this really awesome girl who had just graduated was teaching me, and just kind of passively was like, yeah, you know, you're a pretty good musician. And I was like, no one ever said that before. Like, I've been studying for like 9 years. No one ever said like, you're good at this in a way that actually resonated with me until it was just 2 women talking. And that really has been sticking with me lately. Like, how often do we get a moment that actually feels like huge validation? And how often does it come from, like, how often do you feel genuine respect from your skills coming off of men in your field? Like, that's just kind of a feel that I have. Almost less about misogyny and more about just the world not valuing people and not people not learning how to respect the skills of others enough to show that they respect their skills. And I just imagine it would be so much more common in less toxically masculine spaces. That's right. This is where the trans clouds are. This is what the background is. Yeah, I'm glad that resonates with you. Yeah, like I said, I feel like no compliment ever really hit the same way before. I mean, that compliment made me stop taking lessons. I was like, oh, good, I'm done. I only wanted to be decently well educated. I'm out of here. Just nobody ever made me feel that way before, and I think it was her actually having a deep respect for other people's talent. I just don't think everybody learns how to do that. I guess this does relate because I guess I'm always dealing with the fact that as a pretty young kid, like 16 or 15, I started competitive Smash esports, which is pretty big, pretty big hardcore environment. And I guess I've been watching speedruns all week, so I always think about that. But I was just thinking how much, I don't know, how much struggles I had with people in the last couple of years came from not being respected, for sure. But, or even just think about how precious it is to have respect for other people's skills. And I was just thinking how much I never respect my old sparring partner's skills when I fight him, because even though I stopped, I retired from Smash, he never stopped. He never stopped, and he always practiced more than me. Like, not only was he determined as hell to beat me, which made it feel like I never should lose, because competitive spirit, but he practiced more than me. I practiced a lot, but he wanted to win so bad that he practiced more than me, and he had more skill than me, and he had more of a killer edge, I would say, like patience to really put winning first, so he won more. And I always took it in this emotional way. I was always like, oh, I'm trash, I'm so bad. But that's such a disrespect to the difference in skill between us, which isn't entirely, like, self-diminishing. More like, no, think about it, especially when we fight now. I don't train, I don't practice anymore. He does regularly, and it means just as much to him as ever. So why should I just be able to win because I want to? I can upset and just get some shock wins because of my fundamentals being good, but I was just thinking how much I wouldn't fight him and try to win if I had a proper respect for the talent and the work. I think it's hard for people to respect that people genuinely have more skills than them, and that causes a lot of frustration. Like, immediately thinking that you're the problem, when it's literally just the skills, the skill difference. That's the thing, no one ever recognizes anybody else in a lot of like, esports spaces that I don't like. And it's constantly excuse making. I tried for a bit to play esports with my friends for a bit when the new Smash came out, and it was only excuses. It was just only excuses. I couldn't do it. There's no compliments, just excuses. It wasn't ever you're good, it was always my bad, and I don't like that. That feels like one layer deeper than I've even become aware. Saying it before somebody else can say it. To avoid the pain of, yeah. Yeah, that sounds very human. Yes! This is so much more fun to explore than I remember. Yay! Woo! Heck yeah! I always say this when I play this, but this always does remind me more of snowboarding or skiing than it does mountain climbing. Not that I've ever mountain climbed, but look at that shit. Just like, I always feel like it's more about going with the flow and like reading stuff really quickly and just kind of trusting it. Like, especially this stuff gets so fucking fast. It always makes me think of the feeling of skiing, which was always a really anxious thing for me whenever I would do it. It's like definitely an alpine sport, but more of the fast-paced variety. That's another thing. I feel like anxious people, or even very depressed people who have a hard time admitting good things about themselves, can be very pragmatic. Like, genuinely, can be very good judges of what is going to work, what is not going to work. Kind of hard-headed like that. I just think that's a skill that sometimes develops from either dealing with or just living through mental health struggles. Woohoo! That's what the speedrunners do. Uh-oh. I'm really glad. I'm very, very glad. Yeah, like I was saying, it's definitely hitting a special place this year. Honestly, my sister and I have both been workaholics really bad to deal with COVID, I think. And also shifting stuff at home, but that gets a bit too personal. But we're both really moving out on our own for the first time, and we're both in such intense career starting moments that we've both been huge workaholics for a few years. Her especially. She got it started much before I did. And I don't know, Theo's stuff about comparing himself, that's always resonated with me and stuff, but even just Madeline, like, filling a void and stuff. I mean, hell, this is one of the only games that I got into after I quit Smash and really had kind of a gaming depression for a while. And it's literally about, it's literally about filling a void and using skill and dopamine to compensate for a lack of worth. But again, also, like, I don't know, it's all very complicated topics that come up from it. Because yeah, I think I've just been reclaiming a lot of stuff that I think is a strength only because of my anxiety and stuff, but I don't know. I guess there's 2 or 3 or perhaps many cool messages. It's like a solid English class novel. Look at that, and it's a weird balance. But I'm dead. Yeah, it's like the 2-part thing. It's like, well, my inadequacy drove me to an extreme, so that's not healthy. On the other hand, while not being healthy, that also made me very, very good at it, for example. I know. It made me think of what we were talking about with my teacher, professor, literature scholar, being like, nah, games are definitely the future of storytelling. I've read the papers, that kind of thing. No, I think Celeste is dope as hell for storytelling because, as you can see, I mean, were it my first try, you'd be seeing a whole range of emotions. I'm very used to the gameplay now, so it's not quite as married as it was the first time that I did all of this, where, like, every one of these rooms was one of those rooms, like in the Jello Temple B-side, where I was kind of like, can I do this? Every single one of these things was like, can I do this? So the marriage of what Madeline's going through with what you're going through was just top-notch. So good. And also the pink upgrade is genius to me, just because of how it's just a huge level up. Like, that's one of the only things we do in this game, and it just got better. Like, what a solid feeling of growth. Just feels like you've grown so much. Your homework is play level 3? No! That's actually when the teachers are like, yeah, this is just busy work. We don't need to talk about Mr. Oshiro at all. Those specific kind of madcap scholars that are like, no, this symbolizes the traumatic events of her past. It's repression. Like, again, I was so close to, like, thinking of ways to write it and make it better, but I just don't have much to say about it as it is right now. Where I have so much to say about every other chapter. Oh, come on. Also, platformers are a very good way of learning how to tolerate crappy feelings. Especially for me. It is a lot of nitpicks and punishment. Getting stuck on the same thing, messing up in tiny ways. It's honestly downright hard, actually. I'd say that's a weakness of mine, is getting nitpicked, and platformers are so nitpicky. You make one mistake and it's over. Yay. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I know. For me, replaying the levels that I enjoy, that I already know, has been really good. It's so... yeah. I spent hours last night trying to beat a hard challenge in Cave Story. So I was like, whoa, I forgot about these gems. So I was all in there with the, like, mental aspect of beating hard action sequences. And it's all mental. I beat the hard shit. I mean, obviously I learned a few things about the final sequence for playing it for 3 hours, but I went to bed and I woke up and I beat it on my second try. I was just so much sharper and less worried about it. So I genuinely do feel like this game, being my only like hard platformer that I play, and I mean Cave Story actually had some hard platforming too, more than Hollow Knight, I would say. It's a good lesson in psyching yourself out and body-mind awareness with your fingers. Nice. One thing about this game that I definitely was dealing with in Cave Story was, like I mentioned, being clingy when I'm anxious. Like, there's definitely sometimes where I just bip and bounce off the walls in this game, and sometimes where I, like, really hang on and, like, deliberate over every move and just, like, really clutch and move so awkwardly from thing to thing. And I always have to kind of get myself being like, I know this is hard, but if you relax, it's probably gonna go easier. And that happened all the time with Cave Story, where I was, like, infinitely more focused on, am I safe? Like, do I have enough health? Versus, like, am I getting it done? Like, does it really matter if you have health or not if you get it done? Yes, I think rhythm games are really similar, actually. They're relaxing, doing a really complicated thing. Or very precise. Because you'll get betrayed by the slightest thumb lag, so you really gotta be there. Nothing, I gotta be honest, nothing really ever compared to Sif for me. At this point, the only gacha that I really play is Shiny Colors, and I don't play it much, really. I just like it a lot. Dragalia was awesome. Dragalia Lost was really special, but nothing really ever was the same as my first gacha. It just, I don't know. Especially no rhythm game ever was. I wasn't that into Banduri or anything. Oh, funny that I have you here. I think next weekend is the next mini immersion that we talked about 2 months ago. I'm going to try to get to the school library and get some reading material. I think I'm going to try to do it. Yeah, my friends have been getting into Project Sekai, and we got a chart of like everybody's relationships, and that's when I realized, oh, this is like Banduri. This is so well written. I've actually been enjoying the hell out of Sekai and Genshin Impact without playing them, just by seeing so much content of them. Sekai especially has more of a story like Banduri, it seems. The Banduri story was excellent. Like, that was really cool. I just wasn't into almost anything else about it. A lot of the character designs were misses for me. I think just the general art style was a huge miss for me. It just, I don't know, it never was my thing. Like, I spent enough time with it that I have a relationship with it, but it was never like a favorite. It was just very much a part of my life. Dude could not be in this game. It's my last weekend before the semester starts. Feels like a fine time. I didn't do that much language stuff over break. I don't know where my time went. I don't know. I guess I really did travel home so much. I sure played some good video games. And I processed some emotions. We didn't do much of that during the semester, so can't complain. It's true. It's like he manipulated you. He took advantage of your kindness. He was just trying to eat us. I don't know. Like, it wasn't that complicated. It was all over in a couple hours. It was a one-day affair. It wasn't a traumatic relationship of any kind. Look at those trees. I'm keying into that nature. You know, just chewing it around in my head, I'm trying to think about what could fully replace the Mr. Oshiro segment. And a lot of things could, but I was just thinking like, oh, what if there was like a flop in their friendship with Theo? And I'm like, no, I wouldn't like any ambiguity at all with the friendship with Theo, actually. I'm glad that there's no low point or anything, because the game's not long enough for that kind of nuance, and I just don't think there's enough time for that, to be honest. So I'm glad it's not that, and I'm glad that we didn't make like a more complicated character out of the grandmother. So at the end of the day, like, I mean, I'm just thinking they could like, is that the Shrek outhouse? It's very much an outhouse. They could invent another like nightmare-y battle sequence that would be very in line with the game, where like the partner on the phone becomes like a figment of her imagination that she has to fight. And like I understand like fighting more of the past that seems to be dragging her down through like the metaphor power of Celeste Mountain. Like that would be really interesting. Like I liked that there was sort of like a pretty negative external thing for them to reflect on right there. Like a rough moment that showed the benefit of both of their thinking. But that also could have been how they dealt with some other thing. Because again, she's always talking about this like stuff from her past that's dragging her down. We could have just dealt with that instead of giving her a very small new problem. That's so true. The Yuki. Gotcha. What? Yeah, that's the thing. I think there does need to be some kind of, like, not that high stakes conflict, but I think it could have been just, like, another instance of, like, fighting her emotions on the mountain. I'm imagining, like, fight another, like, spirit monster-y thing. I mean, you know, we're running out of caves to go into and, like, emotional places to go to, because I wouldn't change the Theo temple. I think that's excellent. Like, high stakes in general, low stakes for her, kind of. In this picture, they could have, like, dealt with, like, we could have had a moment where, like, Battlein, like, protects her from, like, some monster that represents, like, a bad memory. Where, like, all she wants to do is, like, be kind and caring to this person, but it's a bad memory where she was hurt doing that. And then Badeline, like, appears and is like, fuck that. And then she has a little bit of being like, hey, Theo, do you think good people can do bad things? Or, like, do you think bad people can do good things? And, like, try to, like, make sense of, like, what does Badeline represent about me? Because, like, I don't know. I feel like Badeline also needs to do something, like, explicitly good before, like, Madeline just kind of chooses to, like, be like, oh, hey, are you good? And she's like, yeah. Like, there could have been a moment where she did something less bad than, like, maybe possibly throwing all the technology off the rails and stuff. I wouldn't exactly say, like, being a passive snark during this kind of weird situation. It's like, Theo was equally helpful. Theo also said, like, hey, don't fuck with this. It doesn't matter. So I don't know. She didn't really have that much of a part in it, but I don't know. It's nice having a low stakes thing to just pad out the game, and it's not like it doesn't sit within everything, but we don't have that much time for characters that don't matter. Come on. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think having an event that just kind of reminds us that Theo and Badeline are in her life. And also, again, it's not that... I don't think being kind to him speaks volumes about her. I think they could have really defined what defines her character if they were more specific and personal about that conflict in Chapter 3. Like, I wouldn't want Theo to be somebody she has to debate forgiving for, like, letting her down or something. There's just no time for that. But I wouldn't mind, like, Badeline doing something extra good. Come now. Just fall right off. You dead weight. No cosplay. Very few people with awesome ghost transformations go unremembered, but I think he deserves to go a little bit unremembered due to the chapter he exists in. Because, like, damn it, you know what? You know what they could have done? They could have used that as a chapter to establish whatever happened. They could have used it as a chapter to establish Madeline's courage, or her determination, let's say. Her unshakable determination. Because that is what wins over Madeline here. Like, the only thing differentiating them in that last chapter is that for some reason Madeline has found her unshakable confidence, and she just pesters Madeline until she understands her. And that's what the story's all about, is that she has this confidence, whether or not it's healthy. And you could have been like, oh, she shouldn't have, like, tried so hard to deal with her situation in chapter 3. It wasn't, well, maybe it was a little bit of stubbornness, if anything, but it was really, like, her good heart that was on display there. And that, frankly, doesn't have much of a bearing on anything else. Like, that's not what we're dealing with in any other chapter. It's her being, like, hard-headed and determined to do this. Yeah! Oh, here we go. I was kind of wondering if we were going to do the Theo Temple. We totally are. It feels so, like, weird to have it out of context. I used the D-pad for that. Do some surgery. Oh man, that was too tricky to just randomly get. I kind of think I can jank this out. Oh, almost. Jeez. Yeah! Woo! D-pad surgery. Glad that worked out. Hope this works out. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Hype, holy shit. Oh, I'm on fire. Wow, that felt amazing. I just love the Theo Temple. Whew. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm actually very bummed that, like, maybe, to be honest, maybe you can read chapter 3 as, like, oh, it's Madeline's stubbornness. She has an idea, she won't let go of it. It's really not that clear, though. Despite the fact that she's obviously taking a stand for something that the only other two characters we're looking for guidance are both opposed to, it doesn't say that much about her. In a game that has 7 events. Yikes, I don't understand that. Oh boy. Let's go. Let's go. Alright. Let's get out of here. Beautiful. That's good. I don't know. Am I getting turned into an NFT? Oh, here we go. pretty. Whoa! Yeah, not today. Not today. I make 3 streams and they get turned into non-fungible tokens. I'm really excited to say, I don't know if I've tweeted this or not. I think I'm gonna add, eventually, Cave Story to my collection of games that I stream here with Celeste and Super Metroid. Yesterday I started a file and would have beaten it if I did the ending that I did before, the, like, easy ending. I played it till the middle of the night, learning the hard stuff, but once I am more familiar with it, I could easily do it in a 1 Monster Energy long stream in like 4 hours or 5 hours. It's very nice, and it's also very story driven, like this. But it's a lot less like emotional, plain symbolic. It's kind of just like a normal action movie plot, I would say. I was complaining about it today. It's great, don't get me wrong. It's like very fun and very, very pleasant, and I like it a lot. It's a bit sad, like there's a lot of like, it's you know, it's kind of actiony. It's there's a lot of symbolic sad dying. There's less dying. It's not unbearable now, honestly, that I figured out how to save a few characters. And I will probably always save them because it's not that hard now. So it's not as miserable as it was when I did the bad end, but it's a melancholy game for absolute certain. But I really want to stream it. I love it so much. It'll take a while of replaying it before I think I can do it on a stream. I'll probably just like stream a run of Super Metroid again sometime in February, like I did last time. But it's coming. 2022. That one won't make the computer crash, I don't think, because it is a 1 megabyte large file. It was one of the very first indie games ever made, in like 2006. Yay! Ooh, yay! Yeah, it's just the right length. It is about, well, you have an amnesiac character, and they end up in a world full of little bunny creatures, little talking bunny mammals, and some evil dudes are trying to fuck with them. You don't know why. And it unfolds. You gotta figure out why these bunny dudes are being persecuted, and to end that, and figure out who your character is also, and to make a lot of friends and shoot a lot of guns at very, very cute enemies. Lots and lots of shooting, very, very cute combat. It is. It's about 5 hours of focus. Man. That was fair. That was very fair. I realized immediately what I could be doing different. Alright, we can report that guy. He looks like trouble. Good. No more of that one. Wow. Background. This is amazing. But now I have to rename chapter 4 because I haven't exactly known what to call it in like one word. I was calling it the wind level, but the wind is far more impressive here. This is almost entirely taking like everything that level 4 had as an identity as just like a very pretty mountain climb. But it's the summit. So I don't know what to call that one now. It's officially called Golden Ridge, but I don't know. Just feels snowy and windy, sunsetty. I'm glad if you're trancing. This, I guess I do a lot of repetitive stuff. It's nice. Yeah, this is fantastic. I think this is exactly. This is the end. This is what it should be like. How did I not realize how simple that was the first time? Huh. That's awesome. Yeah, one of my favorite nature memories was similar. It was just like a walk, really, but it was a climb up a mountain up in Maine. It was just incredible. Not everything is, you know, crumbling rock walls and carabiners and ice picks. A lot of mountains, I think, really are just nature trails that go up. They're so satisfying. Just the view paired with the exercise or the investment is so exciting. You meet the mountain where you are. I'm gonna be real with you, Madeline. I have no idea what to do. It's far from a cone beanie, but I just realized because the song I'm listening to, there's a Cumberland Farms pretty darn close to where I'm renting. If it weren't like negative 15 degrees out right now, which is actually fun thematically for this game, I was like, oh man, in this summer I could just go, just drive, get a snack at like 1 a.m. there probably. I've never had one so close. Not that I haven't been in driving distance to a Cumbies before, because like my dad is, but it's so close. Get a little bit of my last college hoots out. I've got no idea what to do here. I don't know how I did that, but oh fuck. It like worked too. Oh yeah, the diagonal's not bad. I'll just do that. I guess I'll just ride it out and do diagonal. That's not bad. I guess I could have gone up. I'm glad. I think I'll be falling exactly into that. As long as I'm comfortable. That's the thing. It was really scary getting those papers done, but I think I'm going to try and work in a way that comes more from my heart and is more in line with my actual wants and needs and life routine. Even if it's very demanding again. I don't want to feel like I'm in a death cloud again like I was when I wasn't sure if I was even going to be strong enough to get these done. As long as it starts to feel normal after a while, doable. I'm okay pushing, but it's that first ever that was really a lot. That was a once ever experience. Oh man, you're so close. You're so close. I feel like I'm missing something with this. There we go. And there's more. Always more. Hey! Alright. Well, why hurry? We're on the last one. And it's actually just climbing a mountain. Oh, everybody look. We're climbing a mountain. And there's nothing more to it. Oh. We actually did it. Oh. Woo! And it was on recording. You go back to being an invasive thought about eating brownies at 3 a.m. because we're having anxiety. It crashes before showing the beautiful ending art. I'm gonna go retrieve it from the internet as celebration. That's so disappointing. I realized as it was happening that it was going to happen. Man, this is all endings. It's just about the. Oh, that means that we're not gonna see the credits. That's okay. The credits have Mr. Oshido. Oh, here we go. Yes, here we go. Let me save all these. Here we go. I'll insert the ending screen. Good! Oh, I'm so glad if you felt it. If you enjoyed it. That's why I share this game with people. Well, that's why I've begun to. Actually, no, I've played this for people many times. It seems to be something at least once a year I'll get to do. I never thought about that. It's very special. Bam. 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 That's the ending art. I mean, there's also a emotional walk down the mountain, and we got the pie with Grandma and Theo and Mr. Oshido based on how many strawberries we got. I didn't even see how many strawberries we got. I guess I can boot it up for that later. But all right. Well, thank you so much for watching. I was really happy. I kind of had a feeling less people would come. I knew Robbie was going to do with their birthday thing, but I was like, if Noreen watches, then that is so worth it. If you get to watch the whole thing like a movie. That's how I feel about Cave Story too, because the plot's not quite as life-changing. Like, frankly, when I think about it, it just feels like it could be a 2-hour long action anime movie, you know? Very simple. Like, not even a season, I don't think. Not even a proper season of action shown in anime. But to watch it in one go, like an actual night at the movie, drawn out so you can savor it in like 4 hours, I bet that's a great way to experience it. So, I don't know. I can't say anything, but I don't see myself doing Let's Plays again, because this is just so much more fun. It's pretty much the same thing. Yeah, 120-ish is probably my highest ever. That's kind of what I was wondering. You're so welcome. It just kind of happened. Only 10, that's awesome. I'm gonna go to bed. It's time to start resting. You would think the whole winter's hibernation, but there's always those months where you're just floating in subspace with like the worst mental health ever. And then you go and rest so that you can be all groggy in March. Oh, good. We went past the Buddha number. Let me grab my Switch. This song is weirdly triumphant and ending credit sounding for Vaporwave. I appreciate that. Not your average. Yeah, I wonder if we did get like 120. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm so glad. It's fun staying up till 1, but I did that last night. So I was like, yep, this will not be as long. That was a long 3 hours, though. I don't know. That felt pretty good. Like, I don't love starting straight off with the Palavar, because that's like, you gotta have everybody remember who the characters are first. I also don't know how I feel about starting with the Theo Temple, But I guess it's actually more spectacle than it is character relevant until you see it unpacked at the Palavar. So in future runs, I think I probably will do my original plan of going through the 4 starting chapters and then ending with the panic attack in the gondola, and then begin with the Theo thing to be like, whoa, this is the end. This is so crazy. And then 6 and 7. 6 and 7 were manageable. They were really fun to play. Huh. I got 133 last year. Well, I may have replayed a bit. I'd say it's close to my best ever. Wow, okay, I'm gonna crash now. Yeah. Thank you. Good night. This will be on the channel. This is such triumphant music for this playlist. Oh yeah, this is Kirby music. This is not Vaporwave. Deltarune is next on Awesome Games Done Quick. Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Okay, well I gotta go now. Deltarune is on Awesome Games Done Quick. Good night. I'll see ya. I'm gonna do a good job climbing my own mountain in graduate school, and I'm gonna be so much healthier. So much healthier this semester that I'm gonna have time to stream once a month. That is the dream right now. You're gonna see Cave Story, I swear it. Because I'm probably gonna play Cave Story like 3 more times before March. Well, good night. I gotta end it eventually. You'll always have a very, very detailed souvenir of your first time watching Celeste. It'll be recorded.